Good morning. It is a Friday, the 18th of June, 2021. My name is Sidney Winston. I'm an atheist activist out of Vancouver, BC. And I am going to have hopefully have an open chat room, open discussion room this morning. If there is sufficient interest, of course. But I'm first going to show you a clip presented by Hemant Mehta on the 10 reasons people are leaving Christianity. There are many more, I'm sure, but he's going to give you 10. One other thing I need to bring up is I had a comment from Artangelo on a comment that I made in a video. So I would like, if Artangelo, if you're around, once I open up the chat room, I would really appreciate if you joined and let's have a chat. And without the insults, Artangelo, I'll give you at the end, if it fits in, I'll take a screen, or I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you his comment. Although it's public knowledge, if you go to the other video I made, which is something about 5 reasons people are leaving Christianity. This one is 10 reasons people are leaving Christianity. And I say, why wait around? Let's get into it. All right, this is Hemant Mehta. Take it away, Betty.
About 2 decades now, we've seen a really huge shift in this country when it comes to religious beliefs. A lot fewer Christians, a lot more people who just want nothing to do with organized religion. So why is this happening? I can boil it down to about 10 reasons. Number 1, the internet. If you went to Sunday school as a kid, maybe you asked a question like, why do Adam and Eve have belly buttons in all the pictures? And the teacher didn't answer you, or she told you to just have faith. Or maybe you were older and you asked your pastor if Anne Frank, the Jewish girl with the diary in World War II, was burning in hell right now because she never accepted Jesus in her life. And he just gave you a weird look like you're not supposed to bring that up. But if you had doubts about religion, that's what you did. You asked your priest, you asked a religious leader, or you asked your parents who told you to ask the priest. It was really the only option you had. But once there was a way to ask questions about religion in private, online, it became much easier to recognize the problems with faith, and that you're not alone in questioning your beliefs. Just ask ex-Mormons who have read the CES letter, or Christian fundamentalists who finally saw easy-to-understand explanations for how science works and why we don't owe our existence to Noah and his ark. Having information at your fingertips is the worst thing that could have happened to religion, because religion historically relied on people just believing what the priest told them. You're not supposed to figure religion out on your own, you're supposed to go through them. There's a reason the Catholic Church feared the invention of the printing press. People reading the Bible for themselves was not good news. The internet was an even bigger deal for people who grew up in insular communities. Ultra-Orthodox Jews who were not supposed to access that sort of information about the outside world. Young Muslims from conservative families who saw that life was pretty good even if you don't live under Islam. Mormons who looked up Joseph Smith and realized all kinds of surprises. Today, a kid sitting in the pews because her parents made her go to church can fact-check the pastor on her phone in real time and know he's lying while his mouth is still moving. Google is religion's greatest enemy since Charles Darwin. Number 2, politics. Look, it's no secret I'm a liberal, but I do think the merging of white evangelical Christianity with the Republican Party especially in the past 2 decades when the Republican presidents we've had have been such disasters, has been bad for both sides. It's already hurting evangelicals. Their numbers are dropping. I can only hope they drag the GOP down with them in the long term. Think about this. George W. Bush entered office in 2001 with the help of conservative Christians. He embraced their movement. He talked about his relationship with God all the time. Then he limited stem cell research to avoid upsetting the anti-abortion crowd. He nominated anti-gay justices to the Supreme Court. He instituted faith-based programs using taxpayer money. But even more than that, he was famously ignorant, led us into an unnecessary war, screwed up the response to Hurricane Katrina, appointed religious ideologues to his cabinet, and was generally so awful that Barack Obama got elected in 2008. Do you know how badly Republicans had to screw up for Americans to do something as incredible as that? My point is this: when religion is so closely tied to a president, and that president is bad, it's not good for the religion. What else have conservative Christians done politically at the highest levels? Well, they supported Sarah Palin in 2008. That didn't help. Then they abandoned their whole Christianity Matters thing to support Donald Trump. He's only in power because white evangelicals propped him up and overwhelmingly voted for him. I don't need to tell you all the ways Trump is a disaster, but many prominent white evangelicals have still not run away or distanced themselves from him. Which means everything Trump does will be associated with evangelical Christianity. And honestly, all Christians, because most people don't know the differences, for years to come. If you don't like Trump, and most young people don't, even if they don't always vote, they're not about to join a club that treats him as a good guy. Maybe the one good thing George W. Bush did is he helped so many people recognize the moral bankruptcy of conservative Christianity. Number 3, morals. Conservative Christians and the politicians they support have failed on the easiest moral questions of our time. Should gay people be allowed to get married? Of course, that's not even complicated. But religion often says no. Should women be housewives and basically subservient to men? No, they have their own lives. They are not here to serve us. Well, there are a lot of churches that might say women are equal, but whose treatment of women says something very different. Should transgender people be treated with respect and have civil rights and be allowed to serve in the military? Some Christians still don't believe they exist. Should we make it harder for poor people to have health care? Jesus was all about helping the poor, but conservative Christians have fought against what they call socialism. Should we discriminate against Muslims and atheists and treat them like outsiders? Most young people, I think, grew up surrounded by friends who didn't always share their religious backgrounds. We all know religious minorities. We know they are good, decent, caring people. And yet the way some pastors talk about non-Christians is appalling. Do you think your Jewish friend deserves to burn in hell forever? Well, your pastor probably does. We'll talk about some other specific moral issues in a bit, but if conservative Christians and Mormons and Southern Baptists and Catholics can't even get the simplest moral questions right, why would anyone trust their judgment on anything else? Number 4, hypocrisy. The distance between what religions preach and what religious people do has never been larger. They say they care about the poor, but we see some church leaders and televangelists living these luxurious lifestyles. They say they love LGBTQ people, but they spread lies about them, oppose civil rights for them, and work very hard to make their lives miserable. They oppose abortion, and yet more than a third of women who got abortions, according to one 2014 study, were evangelical or Roman Catholic, 2 groups that actively fight to block women from getting abortions that their own members are apparently getting. Pastors will deliver sermons about the importance of monogamy and the problems with porn, then get caught in sex scandals. Sometimes with same-sex partners. Sometimes it's abuse involving kids. They're pro-life, but they're also pro-gun and pro-death penalty. They say truth matters, but they'll vote for politicians who lie, cheat, and steal. And the thing is, everyone can see this. It's not a dirty little secret. I'm not saying atheists or Democrats are perfect by any means, of course not. But when you build your reputation on being ethical, but constantly get caught doing the opposite, people can see that faith is not a virtue. Being Christian doesn't mean you're a good person. You might be, but everyone knows you don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Number 5, kids. Even if you left church as you grew older, there was always a trend of people returning to church when they got married and had children. It kind of made sense. You wanted to raise your kids in church because you believed that was the right thing to do. It's where they learn ethics and morals. But going back to the hypocrisy thing, do you really believe you're helping your kids by having someone teach them myths about how the world was created? Or that God will send them to hell if they don't worship Jesus? Or that their religious beliefs are right but everyone else's are wrong? Do you think the Catholic Church is really the epitome of ethics these days? Do you really want to leave your kid alone with a priest? If you want to teach your kids to be decent people, there are plenty of other ways to do it these days. Also, when you have kids, it's hard to find time to go out at all. Church used to be worth it for a lot of people, but that seems to be happening less and less, partly because of all the other things I'm mentioning here, and partly because our society is just getting more isolated. We don't gather as much as we used to, period, even outside a pandemic. Number 6, science. Climate change is real. Most young people understand this, and they know we're in trouble if governments don't take quick action. And yet a lot of opposition to climate science, and stem cell research, and evolution, and how to respond to a pandemic comes from religious groups who oppose those things for reasons that have nothing to do with the facts. Even Jehovah's Witnesses oppose blood transfusions. It's not just political. At its core, science is about proving what we can, and discovering evidence, and asking tough questions, and using all the resources at our disposal to answer them. Religion is about none of that. It's about taking things on faith, and believing things even when your mind tells you they can't be true. Even if you're able to ask hard questions, you're always told the answer is to be found in one book, and only one book. They're just two polar opposite ways of looking at the world, and we have far too many examples right now of where we need a scientific approach, but we're only getting a religious one. No thank you. Number 7, sex. A lot of religious groups push this idea that you must be sexually abstinent until marriage, or you're broken. Right-wing Christians push for abstinence-only sex education in schools. The schools won't get federal funding unless they do that. They don't even want people learning about condoms or birth control. They definitely don't want anyone telling high schoolers about what good sex means and how that's different for everyone, or the importance of consent, or the idea that sexual identities are on a spectrum. They think talking about it will make kids want to do it. Like if we just pretend sex doesn't exist, no one will ever think about it. Right. Those people have never met teenagers, apparently. And if we don't tell them about the gay, and we never say transgender, then everyone will just be straight and cis, and we can keep having gender reveal parties. This mentality has always been stupid. But now we're learning how harmful that is, thanks to studies that show how kids who took abstinence-only classes are just as sexually active as everyone else, if not more so. But more importantly, they don't take precautions. Whenever there's a teen pregnancy outbreak somewhere, you can bet good money they did not have comprehensive sex ed. And you can also bet there's a huge religious presence in the community. It's not just school though. It's the whole religious mentality that equates sex with shame. And more people today are willing to say how wrong that is. Like people who lived that pro-abstinence life, who are now speaking out and saying they wish they were never raised to think sex was a dirty word. Even Joshua Harris, the evangelical who spearheaded the whole purity culture movement, apologized because he finally figured out how much damage he did. You know who else has bravely spoken out? Sexual assault victims who were abused, maybe by their church leaders, but who didn't tell even the people closest to them because the bigger crime in their heads was that they were no longer technically a virgin. It took them years to realize they didn't do anything wrong. And thank goodness they're letting people know that. The way religions treat sex is finally and rightfully backfiring. And just to be clear, I am not making any judgment on people who choose to be abstinent. If you want to wait, fine. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that's very different from saying you have to wait or else. That is a problem. Number 8, dating. There was a time when church was the best place to meet a potential partner. But besides the fact that a lot of people meet online now, here's a simple question. If you're single and looking to meet someone, what's the biggest deal breaker for you? There's a good chance that politics may be more important to you than religion. If you're a Democrat, for example, you might say, I cannot date a Trump voter, and vice versa. And that makes sense, right? I mean, it's not just about your feelings about Trump. It's kind of a stand-in for a lot of things you take seriously. It answers a lot of questions really fast. But if you're not that religious, and you meet someone who says, I'm Jewish, or I'm Christian but not too serious about it, or I believe in some higher power, you might just not care. A lot of labels don't come with baggage. I know a lot of atheists who date people who are not atheists. You just need to know the other person more. Or today, more than ever, you're more likely to meet someone who's just not that religious, and it's not weird. But the point is, you have so many other ways to meet people who share the values you hold dear that you don't need church to facilitate it. In fact, you may not want church to have anything to do with it. Along the same lines, because there are more of these inter-religious couples nowadays, that means they're more likely to raise their kids either without a specific religion or with some weird amalgamation of different beliefs that doesn't really have a label. You know, you'll celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah. Why not? And if your church tells you that's wrong, whatever, forget church.
This is a good time to take a small break and to say, Artangelo, if you're watching, when I hit the link, when I paste the link to the chat, I would really like you to come in and join us. Okay? Thank you, Artangelo. You're a big sport. You're a great sport. In the meantime, let's what should we do? We should cut back to Mr. Hammond here and let me carry on.
Number 9, friends. This is along the same lines as dating. One reason so many people are tied to their religion is not because they agree with all the doctrine, but because that's their community. It's where their closest friends are. It's where they can volunteer. It's where they feel special. It's where they can find potential romantic partners. And I'm not knocking that. That's great if you like church. I hope you have something like that in your life. But these days, you don't need to be part of a church to find people to bond with. You can find communities no matter what your passion is. You like a video game? I promise there's an online forum obsessed with it, and they'd love to talk to you. Same with meetup groups or intramural sports or subreddits or drama club. I mean, if you don't like the family you were born into, you can find a new one that embraces you with open arms. And when it's easy to find other communities, it's also easier to Walk away from church if you're not that big into the dogma. Number 10, rituals. Even people who were never that religious tend to go back to church for a few things. You want a priest to conduct your wedding, maybe. But not anymore. How many of us either did or know someone who paid a few bucks online to get ordained to perform a ceremony for friends of ours who are getting married? It's more meaningful since you all know each other. There are also humanist celebrants and secular celebrants and non-priests who will do that for you now. You don't need church. You want to baptize your baby? Well, that usually only happens if both partners agree. But the odds are pretty good that at least one of you doesn't take baptism seriously. You're not going to do it then, unless there's family pressure. And with more people leaving religion, we're going to see this even bigger wave of second and third generation atheists, or kids who were just raised without faith and don't attach a lot of meaning to religious rituals. One day they're going to learn what Catholics believe about communion wafers, and their jaws will drop. We sometimes joke about people who say they're religious but only go to church on Christmas and Easter. I would strongly predict that even those are going to become less common. If you're not religious or you're not pressured to be religious, why even go on those holidays? I enjoyed Christmas with my kids at home. There were gifts, there was food, there was family. We didn't need to waste our time listening to a sermon. Okay, that's my list. Those are some of the biggest reasons I think people are walking away from organized religion, specifically Christianity. What's on your list? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, whatever you do. All right? Subscribe to Hemant Mehta. He's known as the Friendly Atheist on YouTube. That's his channel, the Friendly Atheist. So now, what I think we should do. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I got some Darth Dawkins to show you, don't I? Don't I? All right, let me just get set up because you know how I said before that I'm never really ready. Yeah, one of those times. I'm always never really ready, somehow. And also, it's morning. You gotta forgive me. It's morning. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to throw some Darth Dawkins at you for a bit, and then I'll put up the link and everything, and set it up. So basically, Darth Dawkins will be entertaining you while I set up what am I talking about? The open. While I set up the open room, basically. The beat. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I'm so confused. All right. So here you go. I'm just going to I'll just fade it in like this and let it run a bit.
You get into a relationship from women, this is precisely how women reason.
That's
okay.
Wow.
Now, yeah.
Like Darth, is
Now.
really your best attack? I mean,
My name is Sam Daphne. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. Do narcissists hate women? Are they misogynistic?
When you listen to him, he constantly is cackling out loud like an intoxicated woman.
The narcissist hates women, virulently, passionately, and uncompromisingly.
I had him cornered, and all he could do was respond to me like a hysterical woman on her period. I mean, that's how bad this guy was.
For those of you who are single and planning on getting married, when you get married and you get into a relationship from women, this is precisely how women reason.
When you listen to him, he constantly is cackling out loud like an intoxicated woman.
I had him cornered, and all he could do was respond to me like a hysterical woman on her period. I mean, that's how bad this guy was.
My name is Sam Dagnew. I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. Do narcissists hate women? Are they misogynistic? Women are sources of narcissistic supply, which the narcissist craves. But they are also sources and founts of intimacy, which the narcissist fears and abhors. Narcissists are addicted to a drug called narcissistic supply. Primary narcissistic supply is any kind of narcissistic supply provided by people who are not meaningful or significant others. Adulation, attention, affirmation, fame, notoriety, and even sexual conquests are all forms of primary narcissistic supply. They emanate from people who are casual and occasional in the narcissist's life. Secondary narcissistic supply comes from people who are in repetitive or continuous touch with the narcissist, such as his spouse or his lover, or even his colleagues at work. Secondary narcissistic supply includes the important roles and functions of narcissistic accumulation, which means remembering and witnessing the narcissist's moments of glory, and narcissistic regulation, which is reminding the narcissist of these moments of glory when he is running low on narcissistic supply. Narcissists therefore need women to carry out both these functions. They are dependent on women to some extent. But narcissists also abhor and dread getting emotionally intimate. Sex is perceived as the ultimate form of intimacy. Hence, narcissists try to avoid sex altogether or to transform it into an impersonal act. Cerebral narcissists regard sex as a maintenance chore, something they have to do in order to keep their source of narcissistic supply content and around. The somatic narcissist, on the other hand, treats women as objects and sex as a means to obtaining narcissistic supply. Thus, the narcissist frame of mind is reminiscent of that of the European male well into the 18th century. Women and children are perceived to be property, chattel. Their role is the unconditional and prompt gratification of the narcissist. Moreover, many narcissists tend to frustrate women. They refrain from having sex with them. They tease them and then leave them, resist flirtatious and seductive behaviors, and so on. Often they invoke the existence of a girlfriend, a fiancé, or a spouse as the reason why they cannot have sex or intimacy or develop a relationship. But this is not out of loyalty or fidelity or in the empathic or the loving sense. This is because the narcissist wishes, and often succeeds, to sadistically frustrate the interested party. But all this pertains only to cerebral narcissists, not to somatic narcissists and not to histrionics, people with histrionic personality disorder. These, the somatic and the histrionic, use their bodies, their sexuality, and techniques of seduction and flirtation to extract narcissistic supply from others via sexual conquest. Otherwise, cerebral narcissists are not interested in women, and somatic narcissists are, but only in this limited sense. Narcissists are misogynists. They team up with women who serve as sources of narcissistic supply. The woman's chores are to accumulate past narcissistic supply by witnessing the narcissist's moments of glory, and release this information, this witnessing, in an orderly manner in order to regulate the fluctuating flow of primary supply and compensate in times of deficient supply. Most of the narcissists, especially the cerebral ones, are actually asexual. They desire sex very rarely, if at all. They are hyposexual. Narcissists hold women in contempt and abhor the thought of being really intimate with them. Usually, they...
So who do you think fits the mold of who Sam Vaknin is talking about? And I encourage you very, very much to subscribe to Sam Vaknin on the YouTube channel. That's Sam Vaknin, or he might call himself Professor Sam Vaknin. I'm not sure, but you'll find him. He's the only guy that I actually trust when it comes to psychology, psychiatry, anything to do with that discipline.
They choose partners who are submissive women, whom they disdain for being well below their intellectual level. This kind of choice, self-defeating and even self-destructive choice, leads to a vicious circle, a vicious cycle of neediness and self-contempt. The inner dialogue of the narcissist is, I need this woman to provide me with narcissistic supply, but how come I'm dependent on this inferior creature? And hence the abuse. The narcissist reasserts control and his superiority and his omnipotence.
So he said it was like 18th century thinking. It is. That's where these Christians are today. These Artangelo, Gary Milne type, Jim Barber, those type Christians are literally have 18th century thinking styles when it comes to women, when it comes to children, when it comes to equality, when it comes to their excuses for bad behavior, abusive behavior. We are exposing them. We will crush them.
Abusing his spouse or his lover. When primary narcissistic supply is available, the woman is hardly tolerated. As one would reluctantly pay the premium of an insurance policy, the narcissist maintains the relationship. Narcissists of all stripes regard the subjugation of an attractive woman to be a source of narcissistic supply. Both cerebrals and somatics like to subjugate women. Such conquests are status symbols, proofs of virility, and they allow the narcissist to engage in vicarious narcissistic behaviors, to express his narcissism through the conquered woman, to transform these women into instruments at the service of his narcissism, into his extensions. This is done by employing defense mechanisms such as projective identification, which we discuss in other videos.
You know what? This is what I'm thinking. Take Darth Dawkins, okay? He does kind of the same thing. Okay, he's not subjugating women, but he's using the same type of psychology when he comes across aggressively, and I could be your grandfather, therefore I'm smarter than you, and you don't understand, and you're not focusing, and did you fall on your head as a child, and are you drunk? Are you an alcoholic? Are you a dope smoker? You know, the kind of negative, the malignant, asinine, acidic aura that emanates from this Gary Milne, and really every other Christian I've spoken to when they're in their talking Christian, when they're wearing their talking Christian hat, it's astonishing. It's astonishing how we allow these people to get away with acting this badly under the guise of it's all for Jesus or something. Astonishing is not the word. It's disgusting. Carry on, Sam. Sorry for the interrupting you, Professor Sam Vaknin.
The narcissist believes that being in love is actually merely going through the motions. To him, emotions are mimicry and pretense. He does not believe that anyone has true feelings. He believes that people are acting. Narcissist says, I am a conscious misogynist. I fear and loathe women and tend to ignore them to the best of my ability. To me, women are mixtures of hunters and parasites. Most male narcissists are indeed misogynists. They hate women. After all, they are the warped creations of women. Women gave birth to them, and women molded them into what they are: dysfunctional, maladaptive, and emotionally dead. Narcissists are angry at their mothers, and by extension, they rage and abuse all women. Narcissists' attitude to women is naturally complex and multi-layered, but it can be described using 4 axes. A woman is either a holy whore, a hunter parasite, a frustrating object of desire, or a unique creation. The narcissist divides all women into saints and whores. He finds it difficult to have sex, which is dirty, forbidden, punishable, and degrading, with feminine significant others, such as spouse or intimate girlfriend. To him, sex and intimacy are mutually exclusive, rather than mutually expressive and mutually enhancing propositions.
Whoa, Sam! I think you just hit on the reason that Gary Milne cheated on his wife. Gary Milne committed adultery on his wife, and that's a fact. And according to Gary Milne, every fact can be traced back to God. I have no idea what that fucking means. I have no idea what tracing a fact of Gary Milne's adultery to his wife, why God would give a shit anyway. What we are finally revealing is how deep the ingrained misogyny is in Gary Milne, professed fundamentalist, evangelical Christian. Now, when I hear the phrase or the phrases fundamentalist, fundamental Christian, or fundamentalist Christian, or evangelical Christian, I see Gestapo, I see Nazi, I see fascism, I see, Mussolini, and I just see bad shit. I see evil. And that's what Gary Milne as Darth Dawkins is trying to push. That's his narrative of pushing evil. I have no idea why he would do that. It's asinine. It's an asinine thing to do. Gary, what the hell do you think you're doing? But Sam, you're saying it best.
Sex is, as far as the narcissist is concerned, is reserved to whores. In other words, all the other women in his world, not the significant ones, not his spouse, not his mother, not his girlfriend. This division between saints and whores resolves the narcissist's cognitive dissonance. I want her, I don't need her, I want her, I don't want her. These inner conflicts are resolved by saying, I don't need her, she is inferior. I want her, because she is a kind of object of gratification. This division also legitimizes the narcissist's sadistic urges. Abstaining from sex is a major and recurrent narcissistic penalty inflicted on female transgressors. It tallies well with the frequent idealization devaluation cycles the narcissist goes through. The idealized females, in the eyes of the narcissist, are sexless. The devalued females are deserving of their degradation via sex, and they are deserving of the contempt that is attendant to sex. The narcissist believes firmly that women are out to hunt men by genetic predisposition. As a result, the narcissist feels threatened, as any prey would. This, of course, is an intellectualization of the real state of affairs. The narcissist feels threatened by women and tries to justify this irrational fear by imbuing women with objective, menacing qualities as huntresses. Well, this is just one small detail. Narcissist pathologizes others, generally, not only women, in order to control them. The narcissist believes that once their prey is secured, women assume the role of body snatchers. They abscond with the male's sperm. They generate an endless stream of demanding and nose-dripping children. They financially bleed the men in their lives to cater to their needs
I
and
don't
to
know
the
why
needs
this
of their
is.
dependents.
I don't know why this audio
Put
was
differently,
weird. It's
women
almost
are
done.
parasites, leeches, whose sole function is to suck dry every man they find, and
There we go.
tarantula-like decapitate him once no longer useful. Is this a reflection of the narcissist behavior, or what? Yes, true. The narcissist projects his own modes of behavior, his own traits, onto women. This, of course, is exactly what the narcissist does to people. Thus, his view of women is mere and absolute projection.
You want to
Shit, sorry. Muted, you're muted. Everybody's gonna say you're muted. Okay, so what I said was, I said that Sam Vaknin has perfectly described Gary Mill to a T. And, yes, I know, no sound. Sorry, man. And, now, I've put together, over time, some little clips of my own. And if this works, we can, I don't know, have a conversation about this in a bit. I will start to include the link to the hangout, to the chat room. I guess we call it the hangout room, the meet room. I still don't know what to call it, but let's call it the Zoom room for now. And in the meantime, let's see if this actually works.
answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Hold on a sec. Hold on a second. I think I jumped the gun here or something. Alright, so I want that. No, actually I did. That was pretty much it. I'll just play this one again.
Those of you who are single and planning on getting married, when you get married and you get into a relationship from women,
Hold on. That's not even filling up the screen properly. Let me fix that. I fix that for you. I fix that for you, and you'll see the true face of Mr. Dawkins. There we go. How's that? Is that better? You don't need my ugly mug in there, do you? No. Alright, out. And let's start this. It's only a few seconds, but we'll start it again. This is the voice of Gary Mill.
for those of you who are single and planning on getting married, when you get married and you get into a relationship from women, this is precisely how women reason.
When you listen to him, he constantly is cackling out loud like an intoxicated woman.
I had him cornered, and all he could do was respond to me like a hysterical woman on her period. I mean, that's how bad this guy was.
Yeah, well, there you go, eh?
My name is Sam Duck.
Yes, we know Sam. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Okay, so we're back here, and I'm going to throw in for you. There you go. There's the meat. There's the room. I think I have to pin it as well, don't I? Yes. Pin it. Okay, Mang. Now, where is this room? Where is the ring? Oh, there it is. Okay, so here I'm going to slide this in like that. So that's the objective, right? This is the room that you're trying to hit, or that I'm trying to get you to hit, so that we can have chat and chat. And in order to get into the room, you have to click on the link that starts meet.google.com, etc. And I guess I'll give it, what, a few minutes to see if anyone joins. A few minutes. If oh, I tell you what, I got something else here for you to watch. Yeah. You all know the Raging Atheist, don't you? Maybe not. But if you don't know the Raging Atheist, then I'm going to introduce you to it.
I'm the author of Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited.
No, you're not.
Do narcissism.
No, you're not. I want to play that one instead. There we go. Okay, so the Raging Atheist met Darth Dawkins for the first time. I don't know if I've even played this before, but it's really hilarious. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, so the Raging Atheist, I guess he had a call-in show, and Darth Dawkins calls in, and the Raging Atheist doesn't know who Darth Dawkins is. And I'm trying to figure out how to bring... Listen to me. Why doesn't it show on the screen? I think I'll show you something. I'll show you what I've got going here. A blank screen. That's not good. Somehow I've got to do something about that. Do you want to watch a blank screen? I didn't think so. Let me turn off the... I'm going to try and figure this out. And I had this problem the other day, and I did figure it out, and I can't remember how. It had something to do with a setting somewhere. Oh, let me try and figure it out. Please feel free to join the room while we're waiting here, while I'm trying to figure this out. No, I'm not getting any closer, so come on in. Okay, I have a better idea. Considering the fact that you don't really need the visual, you don't need the video, I'm gonna play it anyway. I'll still try and fix it, but it's kind of weird because it worked in the last one. But yeah, let me find it, and I'll play it anyway. Oh shit! Oh crap! Switched off the audio. All right. Let me know. All right, take it away, Raging Atheist.
I'm an open book and I'll answer anything. So it's just my opinion. I know like most liberals wouldn't even agree with my stance. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, I'm in.
Oh, pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I've been just listening to the last couple of times you're on, and I see that you're a raging atheist.
Sometimes.
How is it? Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Go say that again.
I said, how is atheism coherent?
How is it coherent?
Yeah. Is your atheism the denial of the existence of God or a lack of belief?
My atheism is let me find the words. My atheism is more of an anti-theism. I don't discount the notion or the possibility of a creator being or entity or universal mind. I don't pretend to know. I'm not going to discount that possibility. I think that it's one of the lesser of the possibilities. I get in trouble when I spout these possibilities, but I just to give an example, because I don't believe this is what happened either. I don't pretend to know what happened. But I would tend to believe more that the gods were actual physical beings from other worlds, because now we understand that space is part of the universe and that there's too many worlds out there to count, and that when something comes from the heavens, that now we have words for that. Back then they didn't. So if the gods are real, I would think that they're more biological creatures that took advantage of an ignorant race that they came across.
So do you lack belief that there is an eternal, absolute creator God who creates and sustains everything?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't have any of the apps installed yet that I should have to be able to turn you up.
I turned my sensitivity up. Is that better?
Oh yeah, that's a lot better. So yeah, will you repeat that?
Yeah. Do you lack belief that there's an absolute eternal God who is the creator and sustainer of all things? Do you lack belief in that?
No, I don't. I tend to believe evolution.
Atheism mean then?
I'm sorry?
If you call yourself an atheism usually denotes either the denial of the existence of a creator God or the lack of belief in God.
Oh no, that's and this is a common misconception that believers have about atheists. No, you can be atheist and still believe in a God. You can be an agnostic atheist, you can be a Gnostic atheist. It's different. I think that I fall somewhat in the middle of both.
The standard definition of atheism is either the denial.
Just 1 second, I might have somebody knocking real quick. Let me check. No, all right. Yeah.
Standard usages of atheism in the reference works. Okay.
Well, I do not believe in a God. I'm going to put that out there. I think that I believe in possibilities. I'm not going to deny a possibility. Now, the only reason I even acknowledge the possibility of a God is because for 10,000 years, people have put that possibility forward. If I had never heard of that possibility before, then it wouldn't be a possibility that is in my stratosphere of understanding. So I wouldn't have that possibility in my brain. I don't believe it. I believe in evolution. But
I'm not asking you about biological origin. I'm asking you, the proposition that an eternal creator God exists. Is that proposition true, false?
Okay. Bear in mind, my dear viewers, that it's the Raging Atheists show, and Gary has phoned in to the show. And now it would be an appropriate time to take a break and honor and recognize everybody's in the side chat. Cryptomeria, welcome, darling. Geo Sam, I've seen you on other live streams. Jump in. Good to see you though. And we got some new people. Dove Kitty, welcome. And who else we got? Fakinel. All religions are scams. No kidding. I totally agree with you. Most Epic, good to see you again, sir. Or ma'am, whatever the case may be. And Donnie H. I don't believe we've met. Nice to meet you. Welcome. Wild Heart 666. Hey man, welcome back. Oh, and all is well. Thank you for asking. All right, let's carry on. Thank you everybody for being here.
Or do you hope?
I can't honestly answer that question. I don't think anybody can honestly answer that question, and not if they're being honest. And
listen, you will either you will have a belief in God or you will not.
So no, that's the thing I fight against. See, Christians like to have these absolutes, and that's just not the case. I'm not going to pretend to know what happened when I wasn't alive. I've only been.
Okay, I just want to say that at this point, Raging Atheist Talking he has changed his views since then. This is right in the beginning when he wasn't quite as mature as he is now. But when he's talking about possibilities there, he is of the mind at the time, being, I guess, agnostic, that there was a possibility that a God exists of a creation. If that's the case, then Gary Milne wins, hands down. And, well done, Gary. But if you listen to Raging Atheist today, it's a totally different person. He rejects the possibility. So whatever you're hearing here about the possibility of God, it's not his current view, number one, and number two, it's what ultimately enrages Gary, as we have come to expect.
Been alive for 41 years. I can only know for sure what I've seen, what I've experienced. So
I stated either you will have a belief in God or you will not have a belief in God. There's not a third option.
Sure there is. There's a belief in I can believe in little space gnomes.
No,
they're not gods, but they go around and they fucking create shit. Like I could believe in magical unicorns that fly across the each individual galaxy, spitting off fairy dust.
You know what the laws of logic are?
Do I know what the laws of magic are?
Logic. Okay? Yeah, the laws of logic are A cannot equal not A, and the law of excluded middle is something is either A or it's not A. Either.
All right, well, let's talk about the law of excluded middle while we're at it, okay? So something is either A or not A. Okay, law of excluded middle, Gary Milne brought it up himself. Okay, so something, okay, let's call it something. It's either existent or non-existent. You can't both exist and non-exist at the same time, right? So we have the reality that we live in today, which we know exists. Therefore, existence, the something is existence, the A is existence. Not A is non-existence. Now, A, we know is there. We know it exists because we are part of it. Therefore, a situation of not A is impossible. And that is why the second law of logic destroys the Christian existence, non-existence dichotomy, which is not a real dichotomy because non-existence is an impossibility. But hey, what do I know? According to Artangelo, I got to get back to Artangelo. He's hilarious.
Either something exists or something does not exist. There's no middle ground. You understand that?
No, I don't. I think there's plenty of middle ground.
No,
I think this is something that Christians try to put forward.
I'm not trying to be rude, nor am I trying to give you a hard time. You're just simply not understanding.
I am understanding. You're saying that there is either is or there isn't, and there's no middle ground. And I'm completely understanding you, and I'm saying that that's bullshit.
Okay, if you're going to say that, then you have to give a third alternative.
I tell you what. It might be worth getting the audio, getting the video. Let me find it, and I'm pretty sure I can make this happen, one way or the other. There's always a workaround for everything. I learned that when I was actually employed in the technical support field, when things had to happen, like when a technician was out in the field and I was on a call remotely helping him out to figure out a problem. There was no "I'll get back to you later" or "come back tomorrow." It was figure out now. So with that in mind, let's figure out this one. There we go. I think that's right. Just give me a second. I'll have this lined up, and then we'll get back to where we were. We can actually watch what's going on. I'm trying to get back to the same spot that we are right now. All right, so now let's try that. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, look. Let's go.
Give a third alternative. So I'll ask the question.
I already did. Magical unicorns. They're not gods.
Listen, you're not listening.
No, you're not listening. I gave you an example. Magical unicorns flying across the fucking universe is a different example of a different possibility. It could have been aliens. I mean, do you believe in an alien god?
Listen, you're talking past me. We're not having a conversation here.
Well, no, we're not, because you're saying a bunch of bullshit. I mean,
listen, dude, listen. I'm trying to have a conversation here. You're not having a conversation with me.
You're giving me the same absolutes Matt Powell gave me. That's what you're doing.
I'm trying to explain something to you that you don't understand.
Please explain.
Okay, good.
Sorry about the flicker. I don't know what that is.
Explain to me what the law of excluded middle is. What is it?
The law of exclusion?
What is the law of excluded middle?
Fuck if I know, dude. Have I ever said that I'm anything?
I know what it is. I'm trying to explain it to you.
Well, explain.
Good. Well, when I'm trying to explain it to you and how it applies to the existence of God, you're just arguing with me. You don't understand. The law of excluded middle states that something is either A or it is not A. There is no, the middle is excluded. That's why in logic, it's called the law of excluded middle. There is no middle. Either something is A or it is not A.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, all right, so let's say that this is something real that you're talking about. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
I have to call bullshit. Who is this law from?
Okay, The law of excluded middle is widely accepted, with few exceptions, within the field of philosophy and logic. If you take any course, 101 course,
I've never taken
logic,
philosophy or logic.
There are three fundamental laws of logic that everyone employs in reasoning. The first one is the law of identity.
Yeah.
Listen.
I'm sorry. I'm responding to somebody in the comments. Go ahead.
Okay. The law of identity is something is what it is. A equals A. The second law is the law of non-contradiction. A cannot equal or coexist with not A. Okay? Now, the third one is called the law of excluded middle. Something is either A or it is not A. There's no middle ground. Now, if I say to you something is either A or B, you could say, well, it could be C, and that would be reasonable. But if I said to you something is either A or not A, you don't have the option of choosing a third alternative, because if you say it's B, C, D, or E, then those fit under the category of not A.
All right, so take all those laws and shove them up your ass, because I don't give a fuck about them.
Okay, so
I just gave you another fucking.
You're not
I gave you plenty of fucking examples. I mean, you want to put me in a box of saying that there's either a God or there isn't. If I'm going to be put in that box, I'm going to tell you that there isn't. There's no God.
Right.
There's none.
Okay.
And every time you pray to God, you're talking to yourself, which we have a word for that.
Okay. Do you accept the law of excluded middle?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Good.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not at all. I think it's bullshit. If that's a fucking true law, it's a bullshit law, because there's plenty of other possibilities. You want to say that there's only these two possibilities. It's either God or it's not God, and I reject that notion.
What's the third
completely.
Possibility?
I gave you one. Fucking unicorns, gnomes. It could have been aliens. It could have been a fucking number of reasons. It could have been human beings respawning. It could have been anything. It could have been fucking what? Hawking.
I don't know what's causing the flickering. It seems to be coming from the browser, and I have no control over it. I'm so sorry. Carry on, Rage.
Said it could have been. It could be what Dawkins says. It could be what your fucking Christian faith says. That possibility is one of the least.
Here? Listen, what you just described all fits within the not God category.
Fine.
So what?
Exactly.
Of course I did. You're saying that there's only God or not God, and I'm telling you that's bullshit. So of course I gave you in the not God category. That's the point of the argument.
Listen, you're not listening. You're
talking
past.
You're not listening, and I could give a shit. I'm getting ready for a football game, dog.
What you're doing is you're just simply being argumentative, and you're not having a conversation with me.
No, you came in here trying to tell me how to dictate what I think, and I'm calling you on your bullshit, because there's no absolutes. The absolutes you're trying to pretend.
This is 101 logic. This is 101 logic.
That's the same thing Matt Powell says. I know how to logic. My father taught me the logic. You know what? I reject your logic.
Listen, we're not.
Okay, remember the name Matt Powell, okay? Because he just triggered something in my head that I'm going to introduce if the chat room doesn't pick up. If nobody joins the chat room and it just fails, I'm going to introduce Matt Powell, or something about Matt Powell. Remind me if I forget.
Conversation with me. You're just talking past.
You came here with your questions, and I'm being truthful with you. You're coming at me with a bunch of bullshit.
You're not conversing with me. You're just talking past me.
This is a dialogue right here.
I'm trying to explain to you.
You explain to me nothing. It's. I mean, come with a different argument, because we are right. You're right. Excuse me.
Every time I try to explain it to you, you're over talking.
We're talking past each other on this point, so let's move on to another.
You're wasting my time. See, every time I try to converse with you, you start over talking me, which is a sign.
You're not going to convince me of your argument, dude. It's not going to happen. I mean, this is. I'm enjoying the conversation.
In other words,
I'm glad you came on.
because you didn't even know what the law of excluded middle was.
I don't give a fuck what the law is. I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck what the law is.
Okay, so all you're simply doing right now is I'm attempting to converse with you, right? And all you're simply doing is being belligerent back. You're not conversing with me.
I am conversing with you. I'm trying to tell you to fuck your law and move on to a different question.
Okay, what you're not understanding is you use the law of excluded middle every day of your life.
Do you understand what a conversation is?
Yeah, I do, and you don't.
Or I mean, I'm just saying because we're having a conversation. Now, I'm not going to allow you to come in here and dictate me. You know,
You're not having a conversation.
Not.
You're not having a conversation. You've been talking over me the whole time.
Go ahead.
So we're not having a conversation.
Feel free to say whatever you want to say.
You see, what you're not aware of is that you employ the law of excluded middle all the time, but you just don't know it by that name. Something is either what it is or it is not. Now, explain to me how something can be other than what it is or is not.
Have you ever heard
Explain
a
that.
creationist ask?
I'm not saying that it is. I don't understand your argument. I've never said that God isn't God. I'm saying that God isn't the only possibility.
Listen, dude, you're not listening to me.
You're not fucking. I mean, you know what? You're not listening. But go ahead.
He always says, dude.
No, actually, I am listening to you. It's just that the whole time I've been on, with rare exceptions, you've just been belligerent and over-talking me. You refuse to even learn a little bit.
Does Darth Dawkins ever say anything
I'm not
else?
condemning you, but I'm going to tell you straightforward, you're simply being rude and obnoxious. You are not conversing. Now,
Atheist, what the fuck do you expect?
The law of excluded middle, something it follows from the law of identity and non-contradiction. Something is what it is.
Okay, I was muted, and I'm going to say it again. The law, the law of non-contradiction debunks your God. Oh, someone's joining. Hold on a second. Let him in. Hey, Darwood, hang on a second. Watch the stream, okay?
Okay.
So the second law of non-contradict, the second law of logic, the law of non-contradiction, states that either A or B, either A or not A. Now, A being existence and reality is we know that exists. Not A being non-existence and doesn't exist because reality and existence does. Now, God is part of that non-existence, right? Because God apparently existed prior to natural existence. And we know through the law of non-contradiction that if we exist, then the opposite, the not existence, cannot be true. And if the not existence is not true and God is not existence, then there is no God. It's very, very simple. Now, how do I get back? There we go.
Not equal its negation. A cannot equal not A, and something is either A or it is not A.
So when did I say God was the unicorn?
All right, let me explain something to you. If I say the word apple to you, either the object on the counter is an apple or it's not an apple.
I agree.
Now listen, okay, hold on a second. Well, you've now contradicted yourself because I just quoted you. Listen to me. Why don't you be a little bit less belligerent?
No,
now,
I am who I am. I'm going to be who I am. You came here.
Okay, it's pointless talking with you because every time I try to explain something to you, you start over talking me.
No, actually, I was letting you speak, and then you talk about how I'm over talking you.
If I have an apple on the counter, and I point to that object, and I say to you, Either that is an apple or it is not an apple. Do you agree with that?
I already said I did. Yes, that's an apple.
Okay. No. I said, do you agree that that object is either an apple or it is not an apple?
It's a fucking apple.
You're not understanding the question.
I am understanding the question. It's a stupid fucking question.
You're doing YouTube videos. I'm explaining to you basic concepts of logic, and you're just simply being belligerent toward it.
You're speaking Christian to me right now. That's all you're doing.
Now, suppose the object on the counter. Suppose the object on the counter is an orange, and I walk up to you and I say, "That is an apple," and you say, "No, it is not an apple," and I said, Suppose the orange, I say, that is an apple. And you say, no, it is not an apple. Right? Would that be correct?
I would say it's an apple.
No, I said an orange on the counter.
No, yeah, all right, yes, all right. So I missed that part. So yes, if it's an orange on the counter, and you're saying it's an apple, I would say it's not an apple. Yes.
No,
right.
It's not an apple.
Correct.
Yeah? Would you be correct?
Yep.
Okay. Is there another option other than it being an apple or not an apple?
Nope. Not in my opinion.
Okay, now, I'm going to explain something to you. I'm not trying to be critical.
Okay, Professor Gary Milne is now going to explain something. Not trying to be critical. Not at all.
What you have just agreed with contradicted your previous position. Because listen, I'm trying to explain it to you. You just agreed in principle to the law of excluded middle. I just explained it to you with the apple and the orange. But previously, when I explained to you the law of excluded middle, you rejected it. So earlier you rejected it, now you accept it. You see the problem?
No, see, what you're not understanding is I never said that God is not God.
I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about God right now. I'm talking about the law of excluded middle.
And I already told you to take that law and shove it up your ass. Please do this for me. All right. So, I'm looking at my chat, and there's a good point here. How do you prove that God did it? What's your proof of it?
All right, sir. We're not talking about God right now. We haven't finished discussing.
Sure we are.
Now,
I let you come on here, but I let you fucking speak, dude. So shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
You're over. Listen, if you don't stop, just leave.
Oh my fucking God! You're gonna make me kick you out of here. So shut up.
You can kick me out. I don't care. I'll leave anyway.
Shut up for a minute. Shut up.
Good. I'll shut up, and then when it's my turn, you shut up.
You won't shut up. Rage.
Shut up. Listen to me. I'd never said that God is not God. You're trying to say that's what I said, and I never said that. What you are saying makes no fucking sense. So if you want to come with a good, honest conversation, you're more than willing to come with that. But this right now is bullshit. Prove your God is the one that did it, and stop giving me A plus B or whatever the fuck you're giving me. Prove your God did it, prove me wrong, or shut up.
Yeah.
And why am I raging? I'm raging because I'm the fucking raging atheist, dude. I mean, he came here. He came here.
Yeah, I'm glad this is live for everybody to see.
What the fuck ever, dude? This is fucking hilarious.
Exactly.
Now, before we can discuss God or anything else, you have to understand that there are certain rules of thinking, and those are called the laws of life.
So, this is really going over.
So you're going to over-talk me again?
You want to talk about something else?
You
can
just
get
again.
the fuck out of here, man.
Okay, listen, you are one of the stupidest atheists I have ever spoken to.
All right, so let's talk about that. Why? Because I don't accept your bullshit reasoning.
You are not among the stupidest atheists I talked to. You, sir, are the most stupid atheist that I've ever spoken to.
I might take that as a compliment.
I'm just curious, so I can have an understanding of your mindset. Have you ever had a frontal lobe injury?
Listen to this.
Because I'm just wondering.
I played football.
I'm just wondering what explains your stupidity.
I
Because
play football.
talking with you is like talking with a drug-crazed animal.
Listen to him.
Because you don't know how to converse. You know, the whole time I've been on here trying to have a conversation with you.
I have no
and
interest in
you
this conversation. It's stupid.
It is.
All right, listen, I'm done. There's no talking to stuck on stupid.
Yeah,
You are
you're pretty much, you're right about that. I'm trying to figure out how to kick this motherfucker out.
most stupid atheist I've ever spoken to. Have a
I've
nice
never
day.
actually had to kick somebody out before, so keep going on, dude. You're fine. Anybody know how to kick a motherfucker out? Is he
I
gone?
do.
All right,
I do,
he's
but
gone.
I'm not going to help you.
Yeah, that went nowhere, dude. Like, fucking, can you understand what I chat, and I know Mr. Muhammad, you seem to be on this dude's side. Do you even understand what he was fucking saying, man? I mean, yeah,
No one
maybe you're not. Maybe
understands.
I'm just, I don't know, man. That was fucking, I think that was
need to
awesome.
turn down my TV.
That's okay. I'm going to turn this
Yeah,
off.
he left out. I got to really be prepared for that next time, because I'm sitting here clicking all
He's
these
almost
buttons like,
done.
how the fuck do I get rid of this guy? But I think it's right here.
There you go. Done. All right. Looks like we've got a room going. All right. Okay, thank you for holding on and waiting, everybody. Thank you, Atlas, Crypto. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, Sid.
How
No
you
problem,
doing?
man.
Yeah. So
Good to see you.
good to see you too. We're on a live stream,
Okay.
and I haven't seen you in a while. What you been up to?
Nothing much. Just job. Again, offices are open, and I have to go there. Morning shifts, sleep at night. Pakistan time is different than yours, so
I know
yeah.
you. I think you're exactly 12 hours ahead of me. So it's right now.
Yeah.
I'm at 12 p.m. Are you at midnight?
Yeah, it's midnight.
Yeah. Okay. That is the difference. Hello, hi, African humanist.
Hello,
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good night. Well, it's probably what about
It's
8 o'clock?
just gone past 8 o'clock. Yes.
England is playing Scotland right now. It's kickoff.
Okay. I'm not keen on
But
football.
I'm not going to worry about it. What do you mean you're not going to? You see, I've never met an English person on these hangouts who likes football. I just can't understand it.
That's good.
Good to see you.
Hey,
Hello.
Maria. Hello. Hello, viral on web.
Hello.
Well, Scotland's already partying.
Why did they score? Or are they just partying because they're Scottish? Speak up, speak up, speak up.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Got all shy for a minute.
What? What's all that about?
Yeah. Oh. I love your channel, The African Humanist, and I think this is amazing to see your perspective.
Isn't it great? I love it as well.
It is just.
Thank you. It's you see the videos I play on my channel. These are things I come across, and in my head I'm thinking,
What the fuck? Summer is so messed.
what the actual FUCK is going on here? And these are quote and unquote the religious people. These are Christians. These are religion. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought,
Oh
okay,
no, it's like downright pervy. Some of it's pretty
Some of them.
disturbing. It's like
them.
wow.
I like that one where he was sucking the breast
Yeah, that one was.
I was so disgusted. I watched it about 1,000 times.
I bet.
Sidney,
Yeah.
Sidney, you would like that one. I don't.
I did.
Well, he's an old guy. That's what happens.
And did you see how she was screaming? Looks like he was sucking onto it.
I think he ripped that nipple right off with his teeth.
I think whatever he was looking for, maybe he thought if he sucked really hard, he will find it.
Well, maybe they do like to try. Bad joke.
So,
bad joke.
What I'm thinking is, if the men have to suck her breasts, what do the ladies have to suck on then?
What do you think?
I don't even want to.
I'll give you a wild guess. Come on, take 3 if you have to.
I can't even imagine it. I can't even.
Sorry.
Well, if I was to suck on her breast for pleasure's sake, yes, but not because I'm looking for any miracle or anything. You know, I might do it for the sake of it, for the fun of it, for pleasure's sake, but not because.
Hey, if it gets me the lotto numbers, I'm all for it. Hey man, maybe she's lucky. You know.
So wait, if she was a man, what would people have to suck on then?
I don't even want to think about it. No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's okay. I'm being totally cheeky. Just be.
Well, there's probably videos about that.
Oh, there are. It is quite.
Yeah, of course. I bet that most of these people will take the women in the private areas and say, if you suck on this, you will get.
I have sacred sperm.
Yeah. That's been going on in churches for.
If you suck on this, you'll get a miracle, or you get £1,000 in your account tomorrow, or something. It's crazy.
Oh, so is it the African people who are gullible or the British?
What about Americans?
Everyone's gullible in their own right. You find gullibility everywhere you go. It's not just with Africans. It's just I think Africans tend to look up to Americans and look up to others as, you know, as the models. You know, I think most of the pastors. Can you imagine? I heard about this one pastor once went on a buying spree, bought all of T.D. Jakes' books and DVDs, and spent time reading them. And after he was done, came out and says, "I'm now a pastor." After reading T.D. Jakes' books, because he thinks T.D. Jakes.
That's how churches work.
Is the business.
Yeah. I saw it working with the Swaggarts. I saw it working with SBN. That's how they roll. That is their corporate model. That is but it's not, they do it under the guise we're spreading literacy. And I totally love people reading, but what they produce as a corporate entity is not healthy religion. It's very weird and toxic. I am petitioning to have it banned in Canada and have their nonprofit status revoked.
Oh, that would be good. That would be great. Wow.
Who are you petitioning to?
I am not going to give away my game plan, Sidney.
Why is it a secret?
Because it's law, and it's way more complex than I can explain to you in a live chat screen. I'm sorry, it's like it's like chess.
Am I not intelligent enough to understand?
No, but this is not the time or place to discuss it.
You brought it up. I didn't.
Okay, well, I am pushing for.
Tell us more.
Well, okay. I honestly believe that churches shouldn't have as much legal nonprofit status with the tax laws as they are getting now. I think it is irrelevant in Canadian society. I am trying to change it. It is not like an easy thing to explain because tax laws are freaking boring. It is seriously, you do not want me to go through it. You would rather me read you the Bible. It's at least it's interesting. But I understand enough about the bylaws in the regions. And here is where Canada and the States are similar because it is on bylaws.
It is on what?
On local bylaws. You can have a federal law or a provincial law, but it is irrelevant if there is a local bylaw standing. See, I already made you like zone out, I can tell.
No, I'm not zoning out. I'm trying to process, but my process is slow.
You see, it's a lot of bigger stuff. One of the best channels I saw recently was the discussion on New Orleans housing rights because the Black community is getting left out. They think they own their houses, but it hasn't actually been settled in courts. And people don't. Developers are taking advantage of it. And this has been a gentrification. This happens in every city. So, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, how did you go from challenging the Canadian rules and law to New Orleans?
All intertwined.
To New Orleans something or other.
The same systems in law that hurt one little group, and it may seem irrelevant, actually can have bearing on larger legislation.
I know, but the legislation in Canada has no bearing on legislation that will affect New Orleans.
It actually does.
Tell me how.
Because as a Canadian citizen, I can invest in their neighborhood. I can help these grassroots communities build up and organize, and it's really tricky even to donate to some of these as a foreign entity. I just think we as private citizens have way more power than we give ourselves credit for. Find your passion and do your little corner to make the world better. Don't go overboard and be a Karen, but just, I have several irons in the fire in terms of causes. These are a few.
Why don't you just focus on one and go through with it?
Where's the adventure in that?
Well, it's the adventure's in the accomplishment, the result.
You're never going to accomplish anything in
the positive
law,
result.
in a time span you can actually see. That is the
Well, I tell you what. We have a guest.
I'd rather hear from other people.
Yes.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Atlas from Pakistan. Earth to Pakistan. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm
Come on
good.
in.
I'm good. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I haven't spoken to Atlas for some weeks now.
Yeah. I've been, into my job so much. I kind of, I got a lot of work to do after the, sudden holidays. So
Yeah.
I did that first and, complete my all the work which I have left. And now I'm kind of, into routine and
Okay.
things are going good. Yeah.
Good to hear.
And my mom is saying hello to you.
Oh, hi, mommy. How you doing? Thank you for taking care of my boy.
Yeah. Ami, hello, कह रहे हैं Sydney. Hello. Hi. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes, your mom's cool.
वो कहता हूँ. Yeah. She's learning English, so she's saying, "How are you?" I'm fine.
Oh, well, you got to teach her how to flirt with me in English.
Yeah, definitely. I will teach
I
her.
want you
the
to
thing.
tell her that you're going to teach her how to flirt with me in English.
Okay. ਅੰਮੀ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਓਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਅੰਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਲੈ ਜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਲਰਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ.
He muted. That's funny.
Is it just me? Oh, I couldn't hear anything.
No, he muted. He muted. You couldn't hear anything at all?
Nope. Not a
No.
word.
Sorry about that.
Can you
Can you
hear
hear me now?
No.
Okay. Maybe I need to join it
No,
again.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
That's why I was asking, is it just me?
You can't hear viral?
No.
Hello, African humanist. Can you hear me?
Crypta, can you hear him?
That's bizarre. I mean, I can hear him perfectly.
Let me refresh it.
No,
Let me
don't worry.
refresh
Hold on.
it.
Let me just see if it's coming through on the stream. Because if it's coming through on the stream,
Maybe I should come back in the room. No, maybe.
Hello, African humanist. Can you hear
I'll come
me?
back in the room.
she can't hear you. Unbelievable. Yeah, why don't you refresh? That's bizarre. I mean, I can hear him.
Let me refresh it.
No,
Let me
don't worry.
refresh
Hold on.
it.
Let me just see if it's. Yeah, no, it's you're coming through on the stream fine. Viral.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see.
Hey, African humanist. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good.
Okay.
Sorry about
Hello.
that. I don't know what happened. Hello.
Have yourselves a conversation.
No, she didn't. Are you asking me that? Did I heard the conversation?
No, I want you to have a conversation with the African humanist.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Viral on the web. Hello, viral. Have you gone viral on the web?
I am already viral. I'm so much viral.
Are you?
Tell us about it.
Like it's a kind of name I have, used myself. I do internet marketing, so that's why I choose that name for myself. Other than that, it's not like anything else. It's just a name for, catchy name, nothing much.
Okay, that's nice. Like your avatar.
Thank you. It's from the game called Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
I know
yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
yeah.
Are you in
So
Pakistan? I'm sure someone said Pakistan. Are you in
yeah,
Pakistan?
I'm from Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you live in Pakistan now?
Yeah, I am
Okay.
talking from Pakistan right now.
Are you religious or not religious?
I am religious. Sidney knows me very well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But still we are good friends.
No, that's. I mean, we can.
But that's impossible.
We can all coexist. We can.
Of
all
course we can.
coexist. Come on.
But he's a Muslim, so he's cool.
I don't ever put anybody down for the religion. Your beliefs, yes, but not the person, because some people get sucked into religion when they're very young, and they grow older and never question the
You know what?
beliefs.
I'm willing to put forward that where Islam and Judaism are religions, Christianity is not a religion, because no one in Christianity is religious. Every Christian that we meet on these forums say they're Christian and preach the dogma, but they don't do anything. They don't live a life of regularity, of Christian regularity in any way, shape, or form, like the Jews and the Muslims do. There's no tradition. There's no Christian tradition that everybody, like every Christian family does at a certain time every week or every day.
That's the fault of the person who's, claiming to be a Christian but not following the Christianity. So yeah, I totally agree with Sidney that mostly people who are calling themselves Christian, they are not practicing Christian. They are just, like they have a title of that.
Yeah, but the question becomes, Atlas, what is a practicing Christian? How do you show that you're a practicing Christian? Because there's nothing to practice.
I don't know much about Christianity, but what I believe that if they have a book and the book tell them what to do and what not to do, they should follow that.
I agree. Yes. Okay. We all know that. So you got a book and they got a book. The problem is you get told to pray 5 times a day. You get told to eat certain ways and to fast, for Ramadan. You told this and you get told that, and you do it, and it's a daily thing. Yeah. If not more than once a day. The Christians don't get told to do anything other than to go ahead, sin, do whatever you like, be a pig, be a pervert, behave like Gary Milne. Doesn't matter, but you can always repent, and everything will be fine. That's their culture. There's nothing. They're pigs. They're pigs who live in the gutter, and that's Christianity.
I beg to differ.
Absolutely.
Sidney.
Mm-hmm.
The trouble with Christianity is there's just so many versions of it. There's so many interpretations. So the Bible can be interpreted in millions and millions of ways. You can find one verse in the Bible and translate it however you want. And so
this is true.
You find that some denominations are actually religious, right? They do prayers every, say, 6 o'clock. I remember going to a church where every month you had to have a night vigil. Mm-hmm. And every 3 months you had to come to church for 72 hours, right? You come to church on a Friday, and the expectation is you stay in church Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No bathing, no eating, just maybe drinking.
See what I say? I say Christians are disgusting.
Hang on.
I know, we're awful.
I think there was eating in the evening. They would cook in the church, eating in the evening, but there was no bathing. You can go and have a wash, but there was no. But then the prayers carried on throughout in the church was 72. That's what they used to call the name of the program, was 72 hours. Now, I never ever stayed in church for 72 hours. I would go.
I couldn't do it.
But when you go inside the church, the stench coming from people.
God.
Oh God! It was, yeah. You have no idea.
They've been up all night, praying and sweating and all these things, and you come in the stench.
At least ravers smell better.
Christianity stinks.
The stench coming from these people is enough.
I gotta mute myself again. I'm laughing too hard.
So, Sidney, I think depending on what version of Christianity, some are religious, some are not, depending on which version you get,
I
which
understand that, African humanist,
denomination.
but when you've got about 3,500 to 4,000 different interpretations of
40,000,
Christianity to
40,000
40,000 different, 40,000 different interpretations of Christianity to choose from. Anything I say about anything can be refuted by, oh, there are some other ones that disagree with you. Christianity is not quite like. To me, it's all one thing. Christianity starts from the Immaculate Conception bullshit and becomes even more bullshit after that. That's the essence, the basic tenet of one of the basic tenets of Christianity is that you buy into the Immaculate Conception. Because otherwise Jesus Christ cannot be God.
No.
Do you agree with me or do you not agree with me?
I agree with you. I agree.
What were you taught about the Immaculate Conception? The whole concept of God. How did Jesus come to be God? How was that taught to you?
So I was taught that so the God we were told about what they call the Godhead, right? And the Godhead was three persons in one.
In one what?
God the Son, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So these three entities, they're one. They're all one, but they're three.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but they're all one what? What do you call that entity, that unit?
Oneness.
No. What do you? There's got to be like, if each one is an the God, the soul, the Father, the what?
I told you it's called the Godhead.
Oh, the one, the Godhead is the one. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Is that similar in Islam?
No,
Islam, no.
Or
Islam,
do you?
no. We believe that the
Islam,
Jesus
no.
is human.
No.
Jesus was human, and he was just a messenger of God, nothing much.
Yeah, I can kind of get behind that. That's why I appreciated it. You guys don't like beer. If Islam liked beer, I would totally be behind it. Sorry, no offense. It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful religion.
Why is being a messenger of God nothing much?
Like he's just like another person, like you and me, but the God reveal the verses on him to tell him to the people. That's we know. That's what Islam told us about Jesus Christ.
So how is Jesus different from the Imam at your mosque?
Because Imam is told you from the books you have, but the Jesus or the other prophets, they are getting revelations from God directly by the angels. That's what we know or we believe.
So Jesus talked directly to God through the angels.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing that Muhammad did.
Yeah.
So how is Muhammad and Jesus any different?
They are, different for their time. And in Islam, they said that, like, the last prophet was Muhammad. And, everyone, back there, they came for a different, area for different people. You know what I mean?
Okay, I do know what you mean, except you say the last prophet was Muhammad, but in Jesus' time, the last prophet was Jesus. So, so if the last prophet was Jesus, that was it, the last prophet. Then comes the Islam and they say, well, the last prophet is Muhammad. Fine, okay. But then something else is going to come up. Mormons is going to come up and rise up in massive numbers by saying, the last prophet is Joseph Smith. And then everybody's going to have to say, well, that's the latest one. That's the latest claim to being the last prophet. Therefore, we'll go with the latest one.
Actually, we have talked about that before. Like, these are the things that we believe, and
is this the blind faith? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can say that. I don't mind, but that's the kind of thing I do.
Well, you admit you have blind faith. I mean, that's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
is the
yeah.
thing that excuses you. That, for example, doesn't excuse Gary Milne and those other clowns. Because you admit you have blind faith. They say that their position, their point of view is the actual reality, even though all the evidence of reality flies in the face thereof.
Maybe, but that's what I believe, and I it makes me,
I'll make
I
okay.
feel like,
I'll make one observation
yeah.
that unless you're arguing with a Christian, which you're not, and I'm not saying you. I'm saying as a Muslim.
Okay.
Unless you're arguing with a Christian, which you're not, you are a normal, sane person in this room. If there was a real fundamentalist evangelical Christian in this room, there'd be a lot of stress from that person. There'd be a lot of pressure. The whole environment would be different. There'd be a lot of anger and hate, malignancy, and misogyny, and that comes from every Christian. And
It's not. I believe that it's not just about the Christian. It's also about the Muslim, and it's also come from the Jews. There are some things which we believe are we cannot explain it. Like we don't have a proper algorithm to decode
give
it.
me
Like
for instance.
like angel, we cannot decode the angel stuff. As a
Well, you
Muslim,
don't
I
even know
cannot.
what an angel is and how an angel comes to be, and does an angel really
Yeah,
exist?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Is that what you mean?
How does it? Yeah, that's what I mean. But the thing is, when you talk to the other people, even I don't know, maybe they do have a logic for that, but I don't have a logic. That's why I said that it's a blind faith, you know.
Yeah, but look,
And
you seem to be totally content with it. To be honest,
yeah,
you have
I
no
am.
problem in just saying, yeah, it's a blind faith, and quite
Yeah, it
frankly, I
is.
see it in the way you live your life. I see it in your family.
Yeah.
You're there's nothing orthodox, strict,
No, it's like
right?
that's what I know. I mean, when it comes to the logical stuff and the explanation, I feel like there is no, I don't find anyone who can explain this in a way so
You know,
I can
I
understand the angel thing, you know.
right.
But the thing is, if I want to believe that and it made me satisfied, like I'm satisfied with that. I have, the
Right.
calmness and okay, I
Exactly.
believe on it. Like I'm complete. So
Right.
I don't mind
Right.
whatever it is. So I
Yeah.
don't have to fight for it if it's, you know, because I believe that. And
Yeah.
and I don't feel like I have to argue with anyone who does not believe or he is looking for it. If
That's a
I
good
cannot,
attitude.
yeah, if I cannot explain that, how can I, I can't. The thing is, I know I can't. And I don't want to waste my energy on it if I cannot. That's
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
Simple. Yeah.
Nice. I accept that.
I mean, I appreciate what you just said. No point in arguing with somebody who doesn't believe. It makes no sense. No sense at all. It's like trying to I'm an atheist, and finding a believer and trying to force my what trying to force my um what I think on them. I mean, I went through a journey to becoming an atheist. I didn't become an atheist overnight. So I can't expect that to happen. I might say something that might make them, you know, question, or but to expect that they would change their mind because of something I said, I don't I don't think so. I would hope that I would say something that would make them um you know uh question their beliefs, but the goal is not to um what's the word, like the Christians, even Muslims do it to trying to convert people. No, no, no.
Muslims trying to convert people?
Yeah, you see them on the streets. I remember going to the shop
Oh,
the
in
other day
England?
with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to the shop the other day with my son, and they had their table, they had their tents, they're distributing books and papers and stuff, and they had their what you call it, microphones, and they were speaking on top of their voice, and you know, Islam is better than science. Islam is better than science. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And my son, 11-year-old, says, Mom, that's not true, is it? I said, no, not true. No way, no way, not true. I mean, my 11-year-old says, Mom, that's not true. You know,
Did
of
he
course
ask you why
not.
they were standing up there bloviating the bullshit?
He was just looking at them. And, I just said to him, some people think that, they need to spread their religion to other people, but you don't have to listen to them. You can just walk away. We don't have to stop and listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, if somebody, I don't claim that, but I believe it's true. And if somebody want to believe what I believe, it's totally upon that person, if they want to or not, And the next thing is that, if you want to argue and somebody is claiming that and he's asking you to come and have a debate and he is, full with material and you want to, I mean, if you have a time for it, go for that, you know? And if you don't have a time, I think you can do a lot more other things, and you can do things by yourself rather than debating and the debating stuff what I'm watching all around the internet, that debate or the argues is not about, it's like I am real and you are not, and somebody else is I am real and you are not. So it's like nobody is ready to understand each other. Everybody wants you to understand the to himself, not to the other person. Like if we are talking, I don't want to understand you, but I want you to understand me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the trouble. That's the trouble with religion. When you say nobody wants to understand, I want to understand. I want to know where you're coming from. But
Yeah.
religious people want you to understand where they're coming from so that you would be on the same page as them and you can start to think like them and you can start to reason like them. But that's impossible. You can't tell me, oh, you can't understand where I'm coming from. Then when I try, you're trying to convert me. No, I'm not trying to be converted. I'm trying
Mhm.
to have a conversation, and that's it. Just like that person, Sidney, Gary Milne, whatever is his name.
Gary
He
Milne, yeah.
says these things. He says these things very forcefully. Like he wants
Mhm.
you to forcefully believe there is a God. You
Mm-hmm.
can't forcefully.
It's like nobody's wanted to talk about on a base of like educational debate. It's like they
No.
are at war. You know, they
Hmm.
wanted to defeat you, so that makes things terrible. That's what I believe.
Plus,
You
they
know,
have a scary way
and
of coming. I mean, they don't attract people. They don't
yeah,
attract love. They attract
yeah,
ridicule
yeah, yeah.
because they're so brazen and so coarse, so
That's
aggressive.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's how on earth, and that's the thing. When you see people on the streets and they're shouting on top of their voices with their religion. I
Mm.
remember a lady saying, she was, by the bank, and
Mm.
she said, repent, or God will, you will burn in hellfire. Repent. And I'm thinking, what the hell?
I mean, it could
Look,
be a different
lady,
version of that.
if
That repent,
if you
you will
do
have.
you know Do you know?
His mercy. Yeah.
One Saturday, I went out to my the town center, and there were two tables, right? The tables, one for the Muslims and one for this Christian gentleman. And the Christian man, he's shouting his own. The Muslims are shouting, they're making theirs. And guess what? It was fun to watch. The two parties started arguing between themselves. And I stood there and I was watching these two people. And I took my camera out. I started videoing these two. The Muslims are arguing with the Christians. In the town center, these two people came out with the hopes of preaching to everybody, but then ended up arguing with each other. It was just the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Did you make a video?
I did, absolutely did. I did.
Good.
I did. I did. I still got the video somewhere. If you're interested, I might send it to you.
Did you put it up on your channel?
Not on my channel, no, on my Instagram page.
All right, yes.
I did this video before I had a YouTube channel, so I haven't thought about putting it on my.
Yeah, throw it up on YouTube.
Yeah, could do that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I've still got it, so.
I'll review it. We'll review it together if you like.
Okay. I'll find it, and it was fun to watch. I tell you, I was just laughing my head off.
How much of it did you capture?
At least about 5 minutes.
Ah, beautiful. Perfect.
At least about 5 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't pretty long because they were still arguing, and I had to go. I had to go because
Yeah, you don't need any more than 5 minutes. You get the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, and then another passerby, I think she was Muslim. She was dressed like a Muslim lady, and she came and she was trying to speak, and I got her speaking too as well. It was fun. It was fun to watch. Oh my goodness! I think when your religion teaches you to go and convert people and go on all these mission trips and all these things, you do more damage than good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You do more damage, the Christians and the people who came and colonized, they came with their religion and everything to Africa. And many years later, they're gone now, but Africa is still suffering from, people.
Nobody cares about Africa.
People in Africa think the white Jesus is their savior.
Yeah.
Come on.
I've never understood that. I swear. Makes no sense.
I mean, how can someone who looks nothing like you come to save you?
Well,
Crazy.
save me from what? If he's a fireman?
I know.
What if he's a fireman who doesn't look anything like me, and I am involved in a fire?
Mm-hmm. I don't need saving, and
No.
I didn't ask Jesus to come and die for me. He died a pointless death, in my opinion.
The thing is, I'm kind of not convinced that Jesus even existed.
Same here.
And to say that even if it did exist, you can't say it exists, but to say that somebody can die for you is pointless, because everybody's died. How do you die for somebody else? It doesn't make sense unless you're in the front line of a war and you're dying for the freedom and of your country or whatever, you're a soldier.
Yeah, but
Jesus was not a soldier in any war where he died for me.
Yeah, and to
Or
think
anyone.
this is the part I don't understand.
Wow.
So God, right? So because Jesus is the Son and God is the Father. He's the Daddy, right?
I have I still don't know the whole.
If Daddy wants to save his other children, but sends his own child to go and die. No, it doesn't work like that. Things don't work like that. The average parent would die instead of the child. The average parent would put themselves in harm's way to save their child.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular case, the father would rather kill his own child than go himself.
Well, think about
Guys,
what's up.
I need to attend a call
All right.
from someone, so
Okay.
I gotta go. Sorry for cutting you guys.
No
You
problem.
guys
Thanks
can
for
carry on.
thanks
It
for
was
coming
lovely
in.
talking to you, the African humanist, and
Hello,
Sydney.
so
Love you,
yes.
man. Bye.
Yeah, love you back.
Bye.
Right. He's not dropped out.
Yeah, so I was
Oh,
saying
so, okay, huh?
a God that needs to kill his own child. I have 2 children, and I wouldn't want any harm to come to them as much as as much as it's in my power. I would not want any harm to come to them. I would rather the harm come to me than to them. I've lived longer on this earth. They deserve to live a bit longer than I have. I mean, they deserve. What parent in the, can you imagine what parent in the right mind kills their own child to save the other children? It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever.
Well, hold on a second. Yes, it does make sense. When
It does?
yes, when your God Jesus tells you to love him before you love anybody else, before you love your children and your wife and your spouse and your mother and your father and everybody, first you love Jesus. And if you love Jesus first and your children below your love of Jesus, then anything is possible that is evil. That's what people don't understand, is that Jesus is an excuse for evil. And and I don't think anyone looks at it that way, because they're so indoctrinated with Jesus equals good. Yet, in reality, when you look at the scriptures, when you look at the customs, traditions, the history of this patriarchal, disgusting, brutal, inhumane doctrine of Christianity, you just see there's nothing good. Nothing good comes of it.
I was, and that's exactly is where the problem lies. People that believe that there's a God telling them to do stuff. You know, I was in a conversation with some people, and a question was asked. The question was, if God told you to kill your child, would you? That was a question that was posed.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was, first, you got to start by proving the existence of this God. You know, I cannot, you've not proved the existence of the God. For me to then go and kill anybody.
You can't prove the existence of something that doesn't exist. It's a fundamental law of logic. If it doesn't exist, you can't prove that it exists. You can't prove that it doesn't exist because it already doesn't exist. So the logical conclusion would be to prove that it does exist. And if you prove that it does exist, you're done. If you can't prove that it exists, then it doesn't exist. It's very simple. Something that Christians have a hard time with the very, very, very simple basics of anything. They just cannot grasp it. So it's like,
and if it doesn't exist, you cannot claim it speaks to you.
You can't reify it. Yeah, people, they're just trying to reify some kind of a concept. Pretend it exists. They live in this alternative reality, which is kind of not really a reality. It's an alternative artificial reality. See, Artangelo's now in the side chat, as you can see on the screen. He's the one who says that He's the one who writes as a rebuttal or response to things that I say. Things like he says, the fool says in his heart that there is no God. That's straight from the pen of Artangelo.
It's in the Bible, isn't
Of course,
it?
it's in the Bible, but that's where he gets his his philosophy from.
You know what's crazy about the Bible, which is something that the
Tell
Bible
me.
is not the Christians claim that the Bible is the word of God. It is not.
Yeah, but
This is
Artangelo says it is.
this is a book that was written by men, and when they wrote these books were written on scrolls, right?
That, but eventually,
the book,
but they were oral tradition for many generations.
okay, there is not one original copy of that book. What we have is copies translated into several millions languages all over the world.
Correct.
Now,
handwritten copies.
There's a passage in the Bible that says that the scriptures were given by divine inspiration. Who's inspiring what? You've not proven.
I'd love you to have a conversation with Artangelo, because I think I've lost my something. Come on, man, reconnect.
Hello.
Well, you have just experienced a Ethernet adapter crash.
Oh, right.
My whole Ethernet adapter crashed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. And I'm trying to figure out why. I still haven't connected to the internet. I do not understand. No. Oh, I better just tell them. Hold on a second. Trying to figure. Oh, there we go. It's reconnecting. Should be okay now. Should be. Oops. Should be okay now. Okay, now let me see. Ah, there we go. Hello. Oh, she left. Well, for those who have patience, thank you. But I had an Ethernet adapter crash. So what happened was that my internet just cut out. Just gone. My connection to the internet just went bye-bye. And I had to reset everything. And then once the internet was back, I had to wait for the OBS to reset. And that, for some reason or another, took way too much time. And also, it's caused everybody who was in this room, the African atheist anyway, to call it a night, I guess. Is anyone else coming in? Let me check the chat. I haven't done that for a while. Now that I have, okay, let's see. Crypto Mary, you gonna come back in, or are you done? No, none of that. It was my Ethernet adapter just crashed. My computer. It's old. I probably needs to be replaced at some point, but the the processing and everything in it it's all right. It's just it's not the first time that's happened. It happens. I don't know why, because it's kind of at random. Then it doesn't happen that often. So, I shouldn't say it doesn't happen that often. It's all relative. The fact that it happened during this stream is inconvenient. Well, it does seem that the chat room, the Hangout chat room, is pretty much done because of reasons. I suspect that the African humanist had to call it a night because it's 1 o'clock here, so in England it's 9 p.m. I guess. I think. Not sure. So yeah, if no one else is coming in, Artangelo, you coming in? You gonna come and defend your accusation of me? Actually, I should bring it up. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. If I can find it out there. There is. Okay. I'm going to try and bring this in. Give me a moment. Okay, one thing I want to do is quickly check, because Artangelo, I'm really waiting here for you. Okay? So, this is the reason I'm waiting for you. I'm just reading some of your comments. Yeah, you're not, you know, Artangelo, you're not convincing anybody at all. That's beside the point. You know. I want to capture something different. Hang on. There we go. All right, here we go. Right. Now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Wild Heart, see you later. Thanks for joining. So, this is what we're talking about. Artangelo, come on in and defend yourself here. Artangelo commented, Sidney Winston, he says, no creationist can be a scientist because creationists don't believe that we have a common ancestor with apes. So what he's saying is, I said this. Sidney Winston says that no creationist can be a scientist because creationists don't believe that we have a common ancestor with apes. Okay, well, let's have a... If you can give me the little timestamp of where I said that and exactly what that is supposed to mean, because if I said that, I don't understand what that means. You might have misinterpreted or mistranslated what I have said. So come on in, sir, and let's sort this out. And other things as well, because as a fundamentalist Christian, as a Darth Dawkins clone, you, sir, are the joke. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I'm giving you 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It's a beautiful day here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, hold on. Someone just here. Oh! The atheist humanist is back. I thought you'd gone to bed.
I'm still here.
Cool. All right. I've put out a challenge to Artangelo. I want him to come in and defend himself. Is that too much to ask?
I was talking about the book of Revelation.
Yes, yes, yes. Carry on, please.
I was saying about Revelation being exactly what it is, a revelation to a singular entity. A revelation can mean just about anything to anybody. If this person claimed to have a revelation, how do you know what they saw in that revelation? How do you know that it is truth? It is factual. I've heard somebody, well, I was told that the person who wrote Revelation, he was on his own on a mountain when he got this revelation. So was anybody there to witness what exactly he was, how he got this revelation? I've heard somebody say that he was on mushrooms. He was high.
Are there mushrooms in the Middle East?
Somehow, right? And
yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Well, we got to assume that there was some level of woohoo going on in the head, some level of disorder.
Of course.
Right.
And some people have gone on to build doctrines on somebody's revelation, exclusive revelation to them.
Indeed, yeah.
Some people have made out stories from a man's revelation. Someone had a revelation thousands of years ago, and the story of hell and the rapture taking place and the 666 and all these things, it's all gotten from the story of somebody's revelation, which you've never proven whether this. And in fact, what is a revelation? He could have just been having a dream, for all you know. You have a dream, you wake up, and that's it.
Right.
It's not meant to be a factual thing. But I'm just, how people have built doctrines on someone's revelation. Look at some of the books in the Bible. Some of them are poems. Just poems.
Okay.
Some people sat
fiction.
down and decided to write a poem.
Right.
And thousands of years later, some people look at that book and say, I get my the guide for living from somebody's poem, from someone's poem and someone's revelation.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy,
It is crazy.
It's crazy. And then the worst part of it all is the Bible that I knew had 66 books. Apparently the Catholics have more books. Then the Ethiopian Christians have tons more. So
yep.
Which one is it?
Which one?
Which one?
None of them. Well, all of them. They're all fiction. Doesn't matter. Take your pick.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say
Take your pick.
When I was growing up, Sidney, I thought it was only 66 books and that was it. There was no more, no less. I was taught a song a song in children's church so that you can remember the books of the Bible. I can sing that song even now. Over 30 years later, I can still sing that song. I know each book, which one comes before, which one comes. And then to learn that there were other versions out there, what aren't in that 66, was a shock. Like, what?
Really?
Yes. Then I started to learn about the Apocrypha. I'm like, what on earth is Apocrypha?
What is the Apocrypha?
Some other books that are missing from the 66. Oh man!
But they're all fiction, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it's great that they're all there, and it's great that they all tell a story.
I know they're fiction now, but I didn't think they were fiction some years ago.
I still, for the life of me, cannot grasp how anyone cannot think they're fiction, because from my point of view, I've never, even as a young, as far back as I can remember, I've never ever bought into it. From the very second I was introduced to it, I've never bought into it. I cannot understand how anybody else can buy into this. I just don't get it.
It's crazy, honestly. It's crazy. And that's where when you talk about brainwashing and indoctrination, it does something to you. It makes you actually believe that fiction is reality, is real, you know? So, Sidney, you might not have had that experience of I had that experience, and that was where my anger came from. My anger came from the fact that now I look back and I look at Esther, how on earth did you believe these things? They're so unreal. How did I believe them? But then again, I have to give myself credit for waking up and realizing that it's all a pack of lies. Otangelo was asking me a question. You know, so how do I exist without a creator?
Yeah, I saw that question. I'm going to go and find it again. He said,
my answer to him is,
hold on. Before you give him an answer, let me repeat his question for everyone who's watching.
Okay.
Otangelo, at the African Humanist, how can we exist without a creator? Go ahead.
My mom and my dad had a sexual encounter. They had sex. And 9 months later, I was born. My mom and dad created me. Hence, I am here. So my creators are my mom and my dad. Simple.
Well, I got a different explanation.
Okay.
I don't think you were created.
Oh, okay.
You were formed, maybe, but you weren't created, because matter and energy is not created. You are matter. At your fundamental basic breakdown, you are atoms and molecules, which have been around forever. So you, in terms of your material makeup, your chemical makeup, your physical makeup, at the very, very core, have been around forever. What's happened in your case and in my case is that through the incredibly long process of evolution, those atoms and molecules have evolved into being sperm and eggs and whatnot. And you know, the sex happens, the zygote forms, and I smashed my mic. The zygote forms, and 9 months later we have an African humanist.
There you go.
There you go. So the creation part of it never, ever, ever happens, because your atoms, your molecules have always been there. Your basic matter is not created, not destroyed. It's law of thermodynamics number 1. So that's my argument, that nothing is created.
Okay.
It's there.
It's all recycled.
Exactly. Yeah. It's it's efficient in that it gets recycled and doesn't need an engine.
When my mom died last year, and we buried her in Africa, just by her family have a plot of land where where they bury their people. So when you die, you're buried there. There's a space for everyone there.
Yeah.
And just round the corner from where my mom is buried were some weed. You know the weed plant,
Mm-hmm.
the ganja plant.
Oh, marijuana plant.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was growing so beautifully.
Oh.
And I came away from there thinking, at least my mom, her remains will probably in the near future give more life to those seeds, you know?
Oh, she'll be the fertilizer for the seeds.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to think that way.
It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, your mom. See, that's how useful we all are.
I took some pictures
Once we're dead. Once we break down.
Pictures of the ganja seeds. Yeah.
Nice. Do you think we'll ever evolve into one day we'll be able to take out your camera, scan the ganja seeds, or take a picture in, as we say it now, the ganja seeds, and then take it home and do whatever transfer you have to do, and then grow your ganja seeds at home?
No, that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
No.
Why not?
It's just a picture. It's not the actual. It's not the real thing. You need the real thing. You need the real plant. You can't.
So you can't pick up anything from the plant through the medium of scanning or image, some kind of image capture.
No.
So that's not possible. You're saying it's not possible.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
yes,
so if that's not possible, and you've reasoned it out not to be possible, obviously, you kind of got to figure that what's also not possible is creationism. Because we've already established that matter or energy is an eternal, or it cannot be created or destroyed. It's just there.
Right. Okay.
So if it's just there all the time and it's never created or destroyed, how does creationism ever find a hook? Never. There's no hook.
Yeah. Creationism, according to
the definition of creationism.
Well, creationism. If life has existed many millions and thousands of years, creationism just doesn't explain the origin of life. Does not even come near. It doesn't even try. So.
Yeah, well, it can't.
You know, being a new atheist, still a lot of things to learn. Still a lot of concepts I'm getting used to. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I at one point believed in the creation story. Adam and Eve being the first, although that story was a bit problematic then.
Sure.
But I still thought, okay, they must be, well, they might know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but there's so many people who believe it, therefore it must be true.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No?
There are lots of problems with it. There are lots of problems with that creation story because Adam and Eve then went on to have Cain and Abel. And then the story goes on to say that they got wives for themselves. So, but if there was Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, where did the wives come from? So
I don't think the Bible actually goes into that. They kind of gloss over it a little bit. Oops.
No. It doesn't. It doesn't go into that, but it does mention that they had wives. They got wives. So where did the wives come from? You know, by the time you start to apply logic to,
Well, the thing is, there are many gods, right? If you look at Genesis 1:1, gods created the heavens and the earth, right? So it could be that the Genesis 1:1 says gods created the heavens and the earth, and then they switched to what this one God did in creating the 7-day thing, and another God seems to have created, like a lower God maybe, has created what's on the earth. What the first God didn't create, the other one, the lower God, did. And that's where the wives would come in, because the wives are inferior because they're female, and you don't have to really necessarily mention their existence, because you could just throw them in because they're secondary. And I think that's probably what's going on here. There's so many ways you can take a fairy tale like this, like Genesis 1, and strip it to pieces in a million different ways.
True.
Because it's fiction.
True.
And each and every one of those ways emphasizes and underlines that this is fiction. Yet somebody like Darth Dawkins, Gary Milne, will say Christianity begins at Genesis 1:1. So in other words, bullshit, nonsense, fairy tales, and lies begin at Genesis 1:1. Okay, gotcha. Well, Artangelo, come on in. We all have things to do today.
And these things are taught to children, you know.
Don't get me started on that.
Well, I'm going to have to go soon.
It's okay. If Artangelo doesn't come, I've got things to do. It's a beautiful day.
You know, over here it's nearly bedtime.
It's about 10 o'clock or 10:30 or whatever.
No, it's 9:30 now.
9:30. Oh, good. That's bedtime enough for me.
No, I'm not going to bed. I'm not going to bed just yet. But then.
Yeah, but you
things
got
to do
things to do. Of course, yes.
Before I hit the bed.
Yes. Well, okay. Then let me take this opportunity to thank everybody who was in the stream. Is in the stream in the chat. Of course, yourself, the African Humanist, and Cryptomeria. Who else? Oh, and Atlas was here. Thank you, guys, and of course everybody who followed along in the side chat. Appreciate it. But I do want to take this opportunity to throw out my challenge again, my challenge acceptance from Mr. Batman, who challenged me to a debate. And I'm accepting the challenge. I'm accepting the challenge to debate you, Mr. Batman, on Genesis 1:1. It's a very short passage in the original language, because you claim to know it and I claim to know it. So we'll find out. We'll separate who's who here in this coming up debate if you choose to join. And I also invite Darth Dawkins, aka Gary Milne, and Evan Phillips, aka Nephilim Free, and G-Man, anyone who claims to know, who claims to be able to read the original text, so that we can have a conversation. You can all come at once, so you can feel that you have a majority. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But Mr. Batman, I specifically invite you, because you're the one who challenged me to this debate. So I'm waiting for an answer. Artangelo, you as well. come on in and let's talk about Genesis 1:1 in its original language and have a discussion. That's it. Thank you.
I look forward to that.
Thank you. I look forward to it too, because I'm ready for it. So I'm gonna close out the live stream. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank
for joining. You. And I'm just gonna do my usual.
Everyone.
This room will stay open.
Okay, bye. Yes, I'm off now. Okay. All right then, I will see you